Nerdcast assemble!
Stay dandy, baby.
The brand new Digimon Adventure anime adaptation is continuing, and it is moving at a lightning pace, maybe even a little too fast. It seems like we're getting these ultimate level Digimon way too quick in this adaptation, and one of my commenters from my last review actually mentioned that they don't like the fact that we're getting these ultimate evolutions so fast because it doesn't give us much of an opportunity to spend time with these characters and see them in those forms, and I wholeheartedly agree. I really thought that Taichi and Yamato, with their Digimon, Agumon, and Gabumon, were going to be sort of the exception, the outlier to this rule of seeing these ultimate Digimon a little too early. But nope, it looks like the series is just going to continue to move forward, and it looks like every single character is going to continue to get their ultimate level Digimon really quick. And I honestly think this does harm the experience. Now, does that make this a bad episode? Not necessarily, but I honestly don't believe we needed to see Mimi's Digimon receive its ultimate form in this episode, and it totally happens. We didn't need to see Lilymon this fast. We needed to see more of her interacting with Palmon and seeing Togemon in battle, who for the most part has done almost nothing the entire series aside from its signature attack a couple of times. That being said, just like the last one, this is an episode which focuses on Taichi and their group as they're in this mysterious ruinous place which has this secret underground cybernetic place which houses all of these dead robot-like Digimon, which of course means we're going to see the return of the classic Andromon. And if there's anything that I can praise for the episode, it's Andromon himself. He had a cool design in the original series, he has a really cool design now. He's essentially a zombified android Digimon, and he himself is also an ultimate level Digimon, so it does kind of make sense for them to bring him in, as that's basically what they're doing at this point. They're just immediately bringing that in, but they didn't even really establish the rules that much of like the levels of Digimon in this series all that much. They just sort of like ripped right into it. Like, they didn't even discuss champion level all that much. They're just like, well, this is just their evolutions, and now we're at the ultimate level. That's just the way that it's going to be. But basically, this entire episode is all about Mimi discovering Andromon, who basically wants to tear her apart, and luckily she is saved by this one Digimon that she meets by the name of Gardromon, who also just happens to be, like, the prior form of Andromon, so I actually think that's kind of cool. And I love Gardromon. I've always loved the design of him. I think he resembles more of like a Mega Man boss than an actual Digimon. Maybe I'm the only one who only thinks this. Maybe it's the big goofy eyes and the fact that he has kind of like a boxy design like those classic Mega Man bosses, and the fact that he also shoots a freaking rocket from his fist, which essentially looks just like a Bullet Bill from the Mario series. So yeah, I get a lot of video gamey vibes from Gardromon, but still, the entire episode is basically all about Mimi discovering this thing, which ends up deciding to save her. And what I love about Gardromon is that he can't speak. He basically only communicates from like all of the steam coming out of his body, and all of his interactions with Mimi actually come from his like physical characteristics. And it's again one of those things where you don't need words to fully understand the emotion of this character. It's all demonstrated perfectly throughout this entire episode, which basically revolves around her and Gardromon trying to find their way out of this place while being attacked repeatedly by Andromon. And eventually they meet up with all their friends again, and they have a final battle with Andromon. And Taichi gets Agumon to come in, and basically he goes right to Metal Greymon, which should have been enough to actually take this guy down. But no, they're actually going to allow Mimi to evolve her Digimon in this episode, and it immediately goes to Lilymon. And I still have the same feeling. I think it's way too early to introduce these ultimate level Digimon like this quick. To me, it almost makes the other forms seem pointless, and we're probably never going to see them again unless they just sort of sporadically decide to use them. I mean, why use champion level when you can just immediately go to ultimate and win the battle every single time? That's kind of what I really loved about the original series, with how it took its time in introducing those forms. We got to see that they would go up against Digimon which were way stronger than them, and they realized that they themselves were going to have to get stronger if they were going to try and survive in this world. They couldn't simply rely on the power that they always had before, and there was a lot more time spent with those champion forms and seeing the growth that they actually go through before they achieve those brand new forms, which in the original series happened way later. like for a lot of the main characters of the series. I mean, we don't even have all the Digidestined together yet, and we already have 3 of the characters already having their ultimate level Digimon. It just seems a little strange, especially because I don't know if this is the way it was in the original series. I know that they had the Digivices, but they also had, I think, had the crests, which is what sort of allowed them to get those ultimate forms. Apparently, that's been just completely, erased in the series. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Again, I haven't seen the original Digimon anime series since, like, literally the early 2000s when I was a kid. I'm just going off of what I remember. But as I recall, they needed those things in order to actually get their ultimate forms. So now they're just sort of doing it, just out of nowhere. Just in an act of extreme desperation, these champion-level Digimon are just going to Digivolve, and boom, that's just the way it's going to be. Again, I am still going to praise the series just for the fact that it is doing something different. And you know what? Let's break that down just a little bit more in the rundown of this episode of Digimon Adventure. The ending of the episode pretty much goes as you would predict, with Lilymon defeating Andromon and in a really admittedly cool-looking scene where he gets attacked with this ability, which basically covers him in all of this flora and plant life. And it looks really cool. Gardramon, unfortunately, does end up passing away as well and ends up sort of like as a living monument to everything that happened here. But again, it was somewhat good development for Mimi in a sense, just showing how much of a caring person that she actually is, even in the face of absolute danger and being attacked by a weird, freaky monster. So in that sense, it worked. But man, this is an episode that just felt rushed. Really rushed. And honestly, that's kind of the feeling that I've been getting from the last couple of episodes, as if the series is doing everything in its power to just move through this story really, really quick. And like I said, if all these characters are going to end up getting their ultimate forms, how are they not going to defeat Devamon? I mean, that was kind of like the big thing in the original show, is that while Devamon was like a champion level Digimon, he was really powerful, and it took another champion level Digimon to defeat him. But like after that, they ended up running into these super strong Digimon, and they had to learn to get stronger and better and all that stuff. And I don't know, like it's kind of turning me off a little bit, and I didn't want that to happen at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really glad that we're getting right into it, and maybe they are trying to get through this as quick as possible so they can start like a brand new storyline, which is completely and utterly different than anything that we've actually seen before. At the pace they're going at, we're going to see mega levels real soon. Like, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to see War Greymon way sooner than the original series, which happened. It took forever to get to War Greymon in the original one. Like, not even until, like, the very end of, like, the Myotismon arc. And like, we're already getting ultimate level, and we haven't even fought against Devamon yet. Like, again, just, the fast-pacedness of this series, I honestly think is harming it just a little bit. It's still different than the original, and for that, I do have to appreciate it, while still having some similarities to it, especially in this Andromon storyline. Again, they actually defeat him in this episode, which is kind of interesting. If I recall, in the original series, they actually end up reforming Andromon, and he ends up becoming like an ally of them. At least that's kind of what I remember. That could still potentially happen here. But the point is, we just keep getting these ultimate levels. And if you look at the previews for the next episode and the titles of the next episode, it looks like everybody's just going to be getting their ultimate at this point. So there's no stopping it. The train is going to continue. The ultimate level Digimon are coming in. And again, I'm not sure if it's good, and I'm not sure if it's bad. Also, production value-wise, this was an okay-looking episode. There was nothing here that really blew me away, and that's been my other sort of grievance with Digimon Adventure thus far, is just the roller coaster of quality. It's been really good in some episodes and kind of meh in other episodes, and this one is somewhere in between, and that combined with the brand new super fast-paced storytelling and the introduction of ultimate level Digimon, to me makes it kind of an average episode, and that really hurts to say as a longtime fan of the show. So I am going to give this episode a 3 out of 5. I think it's pretty average at best, and even with the introduction of Lilymon, like, her actual, like, fight scenes and the things that she did were really not all that impressive. I would have been fine with just watching Togemon, team up with, Metal Greymon and do something really cool, and even then, I think Metal Greymon could have taken Andromon out no problem whatsoever, but again, it is what it is, and that is what it is. So yeah, it's simply just my opinion. This is my review. These are my thoughts on it, and even objectively, I think that the animation could have been a little bit better, and that the story is just moving way too quick. But again, That's just my thoughts on it, and yours may differ. If any of you did watch the latest episode of Digimon Adventure, make sure to sound off in the comments section below telling me what you thought about it. Do you think they're introducing these ultimate level Digimon way too fast? What did you think about the big episode, which is the introduction of Lilymon? And what do you hope to see from the rest of this brand new adaptation of Digimon Adventure? So thank you guys so much for watching this review. Please subscribe to the channel for more reviews just like this one. If you liked this form, make sure to digivolve and hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. I also want to thank all of my patrons who've been checking out my Patreon page. You guys are so freaking awesome. You're supporting the channel not just by watching my videos, but by giving monthly donations every single month, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Remember, first-time donators, I'll review an anime series of your choice, so please make sure to join the Ace Guru Army. I'd also love to add your name to this list of super awesome people who support this channel every single day. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.